Hello and welcome in. I am Scythe117, a Canadian variety content creator from Edmonton, Alberta, and I'm here to bring you the first of a new series that I'm going to be starting, which is a top 10 series. And the first series that I'm going to be doing, first top 10 I'm going to be doing, is going to be my top 10 favorite video games of all time. Now, for those of you who don't know, I've been playing video games for most of my life. I am 28 years old right now, and I'm currently playing some of these old games again, and they hit just the same as they used to. That's what I'll say. But anyways, I started on the PS2, so just remember that. Some of these older games I will not know, but there are some games that you might not remember. So, starting it off with number 10, my 10th favorite game of all time is ATV Off-Road Fury. Now, if you've never played ATV Off-Road Fury, it is an older PS2 game. I don't know if it was released on the PS1 or not, but I do know it was released on the PS2. And it is one of the greatest racing games of all time. I absolutely loved it. The mechanics were amazing for the time. The one mode they had, it was like trick mode. Loved it. It was freestyle. Great. And I will say this, it had arguably the greatest video game soundtrack of all time. They had Spoon Man by Soundgarden in there, and they had a lot of other bangers that really helped shape my music taste for my whole life. So now, let's get on to number 9. Number 9 would be Pokemon Emerald. So Pokemon Emerald is my 9th favorite game, but it is my favorite Pokemon game of all time. What the hell are you doing, cat? So, part of the reason why it's my favorite Pokemon game of all time is that I liked all the starters. I found them all viable and they worked great. But the biggest reason why it's my favorite of all time is the legendary. I love Rayquaza, his design, his usefulness in battle, everything. And then when they gave him Dragon Dance and he could enter with his Mega Evolution, oh my god, that was just stupid. But that was not in Pokemon Emerald. But I absolutely loved it in Pokemon Emerald. It was just my favorite Pokemon game of all time. I don't really have a lot more to say about it because it is Pokemon. If you have a favorite Pokemon game, let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, Pokemon Emerald is my favorite Pokemon game of all time. I wish I had more to say about it, but everything that's been said about Pokemon's been said before. But yeah, Pokemon Emerald, definite a good game for people if they want to try getting into Pokemon. But it's also just a great game if you already love Pokemon. And Rayquaza is the GOAT. And I haven't played any Pokemon since the 3DS. Since after the 3DS, so I haven't played Legends. I haven't played... What's that other one that just came out? I'm not going to be... I played XY. That was the latest one that I played, just so that everybody knows. Alrighty, my 8th favorite game of all time. This is yet another Game Boy Advance game. So far, we've had one Game Boy Advance game and one PS2 game. We're back to the Game Boy Advance with Golden Sun 2, The Golden Age. Now, I loved Golden Sun 1. I like Golden Sun 3, Dark Dawn. But Golden Sun 2 Golden Age is my favorite of all time. It was the game that got me originally into turn-based games, as I didn't have access to Golden Sun 1. I only had access to Golden Sun 2. So it was the game that really got me into it. I did play Golden Sun 1 recently. Did greatly enjoy it, but so Golden Sun 2, the story of Cecil, it just resonated with me a little bit more. Not Cecil. LOL. The story of Felix. I've been playing Final Fantasy IV a lot lately. But yeah. Greatly enjoy it. Now, my number 7 game kind of ties in. This is one that I did not play the original version. I have only played the Game Boy Advance version of it. And that game would be Final Fantasy IV. I'm currently actually doing a playthrough right now on Twitch where I am playing the Pixel Remaster on PS4. And I gotta say, the Pixel Remaster, just as good as the original. Great game. The story of Cecil. See? Felix, Cecil. Haha. The story of Cecil. His journey from dark to light. The story of the crystals. Finding out your heritage and that kind of thing is just such a great great story, and I highly recommend if you enjoy Final Fantasy, you haven't played Final Fantasy IV, to check it out. It's my favorite game in the series. I played quite a few of them, and yeah, Final Fantasy IV will always stick out to me as my favorite game of the series. And let's not forget to talk about the active turn-based battling that it brought in. That was revolutionary. No longer was it just, oh, it's your turn to attack. All your people get to attack. Now you actually got to see the bar fill up, and you only got to attack when your bar filled. Monsters could attack. Pretty cool. And now we're going to get into a little bit more of the newer games. And the first newer game I'd like to talk about is The Witcher 3, which is number 6 on my list. Final Fantasy IV was number 7. Sorry if I missed that. But number 6 on my list is The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt. Oh, the final story in the saga of Geralt of Rivia. It is one of my favorite RPGs of all time. It is just such a great game. There's nothing really bad I can say about it, except there are some loading issues in some areas, like Novigrad, but that's more on me for using a PS4 to play it. However, it is such a great game. I love the combat system. I love the variety of enemies. I love how you have to switch between weapons depending on what you're fighting, because your steel doesn't work on monsters. Great game. Highly recommend it. And it is a little bit easier than other games to over level in it. You can turn on the monsters like leveling with you, but shit gets really hard then. But other than that, yeah, it's just an amazing game. Highly recommend it. It's only 6 on this list though, because the next 5 games, I do believe, in my opinion at least, are superior. And they're superior in their own ways. There's some things Witcher does better, but these other things do things better that I greatly prefer. And let's get into number 5, which is going to be a huge switch up from all these other ones. And it's Call of Duty Black Ops 3. Now, a lot of people might not have been expecting that. Those of you that do know me do know that I am a Kino der Toten Call of Duty fan. I fucking love Call of Duty Black Ops Zombies with Kino der Toten. So why I chose Black Ops 3 over Black Ops 1 is the fact that I actually enjoyed the multiplayer of Black Ops 3. I did not enjoy the multiplayer of Black Ops 1. So I personally prefer Black Ops 3. I also prefer that you can get all the maps on Black Ops 3. I can still play it to this day. My friend and I will hop on. We'll play a few rounds of Kino. We'll play some rounds of Ascension. But the zombies in Black Ops 3 are just so fucking good. And like the newer zombies, I'm not a big fan of the newer zombies. I know a lot of people are. I'm not really a big fan of it. I like the old just survive the waves. You don't have to worry about it. Just you go till you die. That kind of shit. I enjoyed that. I know a lot of people prefer the newer versions of the zombies, but I can feel it coming out of my ear. I know a lot of people prefer the newer versions of the zombies, but I just don't. I prefer the older zombies. I like Black Ops 3. It's the newest zombies I greatly enjoy. Black Ops 4 is okay, but after that, I just don't enjoy the zombies. But Black Ops 3 will always stick with me. My 4th favorite game of all time, The Elder Scrolls V, Skyrim. Oh, Skyrim. I fucking love Skyrim. Oh, the northernmost province of Tamriel. The snow-capped peaks, the rolling hills, the mountains, the horses that can climb up the mountains because fuck the paths, the bugs, being able to overpower yourself to the point where you are a literal god even though you have iron armor. Oh, love it. I just love Skyrim. I'm so excited for The Elder Scrolls 6. The thing that I think really sets Skyrim apart, despite its flaws, despite its bugs, is the fact that they allowed so many mods and stuff that allow fixes. Like, playing without the Skyrim official patch just doesn't feel right. But I love Skyrim. I love the story of the Dovahkiin. I feel like it's one of the most well-known stories in gaming nowadays, just because of how universally well-known Skyrim is. But I'm excited. Elder Scrolls 6, I still play Skyrim. When the Elder Scrolls 6 comes out, you know I'm going to be there. You know I'm going to be there playing it. I fucking love it. On to my top 3. These 3 games are my top 3 favorite of all time. They're really close to my heart now. And now I'm just going to say this. If you have any recommendations for other top 10s, remember this, I will have much better quality in later videos. This is my first top 10 video. I'm still working on where I want to record them. I just wanted to get this one done and out there. But if you have any ideas for any other top 10 videos you would like me to do, just leave them down in the comments below and I will do my best to get around to doing them. So we're going to get on to my bronze place game. And for this one, we're going back in time. I'm kidding. We're heading into the future to fight creatures back in time. It is Ark Survival. Ascended or Evolved, either one, both. But Ark, oh, I just love Ark. I have a little bit of the autism. I'm autistic. But what I'm going to say is I love dinosaurs. Dinosaurs are amazing. Ark's storyline, although a little bit confusing at first, I did find to be quite intriguing. I do love finding out the story of Helena Walker and her journey across the arcs. The story of Santiago. The survival aspect is a big thing to me. It is such a time killer of a game. I do love games where you can just go on and just have a time killer game. And that is one thing Ark does well, as well as just being a game where you can learn things and just play things with it. And I just absolutely love Skyrim for that. I mean, the others... I absolutely just love Ark for that. Oh my god, I misread something. Although I will say one thing about Ark that does kind of knock it down, it would have been number 2, is I found Ark really hard when I first started because there's zero tutorial. You were just thrown into the wastelands and it's just like, yeah, fuck you. Straight up. It doesn't even like, yeah, you gotta go. No, it's fuck you. If you don't know you gotta go punch a tree, you're never gonna make it anywhere. It's kind of annoying. But I do love the game. After you get past that first little hurdle, the game's so fun. Just know, if you've never played it before, go walking in the redwoods at night. If you see glowing eyes, they are your friend. And I'm so excited for Ark 2. And now we're going to get on to the number 2 choice. That's why I said Ark 2 at the very end there. The number 2 choice, my number 2 favorite game of all time, my second favorite game, has to be The Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion. I love Oblivion. I like it more than Skyrim. I resonated with the story so well. I love the story of the hero of Kvatch. Oh, the towns are memorable. The Fighters Guild, the Mages Guild, the Thieves Guild, the Dark Brotherhood, all way more fleshed out. Oh, the fleshing out of those is just so good compared to other things. I wish that Skyrim had taken, if Skyrim had taken the same stance with the Mages Guild, Fighters Guild, that kind of thing would have been so much better. I found the companions so shallow compared to the Fighters Guild. I found the Mages Guild completely disappointing. At least in Oblivion, you felt like you were actually working your way up the ranks instead of being gifted them like you are in Skyrim. The Elder Scrolls, and my biggest thing about the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion, why I prefer Oblivion to Skyrim, the biggest thing has to do with the one facet of combat that bothers me in Skyrim. Why can't I have a healing spell in my hand that's holding a shield? Come on, Skyrim. Come on, Bethesda. Why can't I use... If you better bring that fucking back for the Elder Scrolls 6, I better be able to be walking with my shield and be able to be healing myself with that same fucking hand. I don't want to be switching between. Okay? Okay. Okay, and now let's get on to a couple of honorable mentions. These are games that mean a lot to me, games that I love, games that I've played quite a bit of. And the first one is going to be Stranded Deep. Stranded Deep is made by Beam Team. It is a survival game where you're lost on a stranded island. You have to find plane parts to get yourself out of it. Highly recommend it. It is got quite a steep learning curve, but once you get that learning curve down, it is a great game. Highly recommend. Good time. The other honorable mention is Dark Cloud 2 or Dark Chronicle if you're from EU, I believe. I believe if you're from Europe, it's Dark Chronicle. It is a follow-up to a game that is great. It doesn't really follow it up, though. It's more of a spiritual successor than an actual sequel. That makes sense. And, like, oh, I didn't want to leave it out. It's got a great story. It's got good characters. It's got an easy to follow story, understandable villain, that kind of thing. I love it. Highly recommend Dark Chronicle, Dark Cloud 2 if you would like to play it. Highly recommend trying to find it. And that brings us to our untouchable winner, the #1 game, one I almost gave away, or probably did during the honorable mentions, my favorite game of all time, Dark Cloud. Dark Cloud was made by Level 5 Studios. It is just an amazing game. It follows the story of Tone. Fuck. I gotta cut this out of the video. Good to know. Okay. Okay. It follows... So Dark Cloud is my favorite game of all time. It follows the story of Tone. And it's made by Level 5 Studios. And I know all the tricks. I know all the tips. I know everything about it. Oh, there's no stupid caps on your weapon evolution. Looking at you, Dark Cloud 2. I don't know why you added that in. But, oh my god. So in Dark Cloud, it's one of those unique games where you don't level your character up. When you're killing monsters and stuff, all that experience, it goes into your weapons. If you want to level your characters up, you can only do it outside of the dungeon via finding items that are strewn around the different cities and stuff and the places that you rebuild. The other thing about Dark Cloud is you have to rebuild all the towns. So not only is it a dungeon fighting game, it is a building game. It is a socialized game. You are meant to go talk to everybody in the towns that you are building. Otherwise, you won't be able to learn where they want to be, and you won't be able to properly complete the game. You have to do what the people want, and you get extra stuff for it. It is just such a good game, very diverse. In Dark Cloud, you actually have 6 people in your party that you get to swap between whenever you want on most floors. There's no one way to complete the game. I highly recommend playing it. And if you play it and you have the US version, there is a problem with it. You cannot access the back floor because all the dungeons actually have back floors. So you can go fight stronger monsters for more experience, to level up your weapons, and to get better items. But in the 7th area, you cannot find the backdoor key to do an issue with translation. So they added something called the Demon Shaft, which is a 100-floor dungeon that is post-boss. Hi, Toxie, I heard you crying. Yeah. And yeah, Dark Cloud is such an amazing game. And yeah, highly recommend checking it out. But oh my god, thank you all for listening to this. If you sat through this whole thing, you are a real fucking legend. And I love you, and I hope you have a great day. Peace out.